This right here is one of the biggest mistakes I see in hurdling, and if you're doing this, you're losing speed, breaking momentum, and costing yourself time in every race. Today I'm breaking down the form of 7 hurdlers, each with different issues. Watch closely because these mistakes might be hurting your races too. So let's break them down, fix them, and find out which hurdler deserves a full coaching session next week. Let's go. This is Aaliyah in lane 3 in the pink sleeves. She's a high school sophomore. She's been hurdling for 2 years. She's having a hard time with 3-stepping, so she's having to alternate legs and wants to see how I can help her. On this one right here, where you're leading with your right leg, you're definitely too close to that hurdle. You're also not pulling your trail leg through properly, and it's just hanging underneath you like this. Again, you're too close to this hurdle, and it's making you swing your leg around so you don't kick it with your shin. And this is your left leg this time, and you had to go too high up on it because you were so close, and your balance is all off, so you have a really bad landing. So the problem I see is your hurdling is all wrong, so you lose speed coming off the hurdle, and you have to throw in an extra step, but that puts you too close. So that tells me that ability-wise, you should be 3-stepping. We just need to teach you how. I'm going to send you a complimentary copy of my Hurdling 101 so you can see how to do this and learn also how to run between the hurdles properly. This is Erick in lane 7. He's a high school sophomore. It's his first year hurdling, and he says he needs help with his arms and his trail leg. Okay, Erick, let's take a look at that trail leg. I see it right here that you hooked the hurdle. The position of your thigh actually looks pretty good, but I think your lower leg is hanging down low, and you probably also don't have it tucked in tightly enough. What I recommend is right here when you're pulling your trail leg through, think about bringing your knee by your armpit. It's not actually going to happen, but it's a good cue to keep your knee up, which will also bring your lower leg up so this doesn't happen. And also at this point when you're landing, your knee should be up by your chest. And you can see that right here, it's just dropping down. So you need to work on that motion. So I recommend doing some trail leg drills. As far as the arms, you're right, you're keeping them both straight out. Try to keep them both bent at 90 degrees all the time. I also have some arm drills that are included in that hurdle library, but just focusing on them during all your other drills usually is helpful. If you'd like to get a virtual coaching session for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description and in the comments. Or if you'd like to be part of this mix and see if you can end up on one of these videos, I'll leave a link for that as well. Or you can go to my website at acemethodcoaching.com. This is Rochelle. She's the one winning this race, and it seems to be at the state championships. She's a high school senior, only been hurdling 2 years. She feels like she's slow coming off the hurdle, and she has flailing arms, and she's jumping instead of stepping over the hurdle. I'd put money on the fact that you're either a former gymnast or cheerleader because that's the way they look when they leap like this and go over a hurdle. And while it looks really great, it's unfortunately slow for hurdling. I can definitely see that your arms are out there. I would focus on keeping them bent more at 90 degrees the whole time. But another big issue is your lead leg. But at this point right here where your heel is above the hurdle, this is as high as it should go, but yours keeps going up and up and up. And then what ends up happening is you can see that you're floating in the air a really long time and you land really far on the other side. All this air time is making you slow. You really want to touch down as quickly as possible so you can get to running to the next hurdle. This is Joshua. He's a second-year collegiate hurdler. He's saying he's having trouble with his trail leg. I definitely see this issue that you're talking about because you're getting your trail leg way out in front of you early and it sort of hangs there for a while before it drops down. So let's figure out what's going on. Because if your trail leg's getting there too early, I think what's happening is you're not pushing hard enough off this plant leg. Because there needs to be a moment there before you pull it through. And right here when you're at the peak of the curve, your knee shouldn't be this far forward. It should be back still at this point. So you've pulled it through too soon. Also, if we look at the knee of your trail leg, we can see how high it's rising up. It really doesn't need to rise this much. It's just that the rest of your body lowers and your knee stays in the same spot. So when you land, your knee will be high, but not as high as this. So I would focus on the timing of that and also the motion of your trail leg. If you'd like to see how you can analyze your own hurdling, you should get my Hurdle Technique and Drill Guide. It breaks down every element of hurdle technique and show you what you need to improve it. I'll leave a link for that in the description and in the comments. This is Sahil. He's a university athlete, and he feels like his lead leg is floating in the air. Sahil, you look like a really good hurdler. I like the way you look at your approach here and the way you're driving your knee right towards the top of that hurdle. This even looks good here. This looks good here. And this even looks good here when you straighten it out, because that's what's enabling you to stay really low. But I do think your heel should be a little lower. And this point right here where your heel's above the hurdle is as high as it should ever go. And if I advance it, it should drop down after this. But you can see if I click forward here, it goes even higher. But if I follow it through, you come down really nicely. You even have a good spacing from the hurdle, and this is really good position. And because I also like the distance in front of the hurdle, this tells me that everything is good, but I would make one slight change. Right here, as you fully extend it, as your heel passes this hurdle, I would actually bend your knee a little bit, let it hook over that hurdle so it can come down a little quicker. This is Will. He's a high school sophomore. He's not able to three-step between the hurdles. He feels like he has some messy arms and having trouble with the first hurdle and staying low. Will, I see that you're taking 5 steps between the hurdles, and I think that's the main problem. No high schooler should ever take 5 steps between the hurdles, because there's no way that you can go fast this way. It forces you into very tiny steps, and it always ends up putting you too close to the hurdle. So I would definitely work on 4-stepping. That way you can run with a more natural stride, have more speed between the hurdles, and take off from a good distance so you can actually get good technique. And when you do that, it's going to change your drive to the hurdle automatically, so there's no point in me talking about it here. I realize it's hard to go over with the opposite leg, but you need to learn how to do it. I would do all your drills with both legs, and when you pinch in the hurdles close for like a cycle drill, I would do it sometimes with your right leg and sometimes with your left leg. That's it. I hope you liked it. Make sure to vote for your favorite athlete in the comments. Until next time, Coach Ace out.